Good morning, everybody. I'm going to try this video thing again. We got really messed up last time, and the camera on the phone was just all messed up, and it was all zoomed in, and all you saw was bowls and hands and just blurry stuff. But anyway, I'm trying it by myself today, and I thought that I would make some homemade pork sausage. Got all my spices and stuff here, and I'm going to show you how I do it, and you can try it and decide you like it or decide you don't, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to reposition the camera and let you see everything I have, and then we'll get started. Okay. All right. What I have here is I've got some dried thyme. That's some thyme that I actually grew in my garden. Can y'all see? I don't know how we're going to end up doing all this. But anyway, and some minced garlic. And this is just the garlic that you buy in the jar. Much easier. And this right here is fennel seed. And this is red pepper, crushed red pepper. We've got pepper, salt, and some sage, and some chipotle pepper juice. I've got a apple I'm going to dice up, and some applesauce, and some honey. Okay. So what I do is I use just regular ground pork. All right, now you're not going to be able to see my face. That's fine. I got regular pound of ground pork here. Okay, hands are clean, and I'm just going to kind of go in here and kind of mix it all up a little bit. Now, I'm not one that measures because I know how much of stuff is in what, so we're just going to do it by the feel of it, and I'll give you, an estimate of how much I need. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut this apple up, and we want to cut the apple up into very small dices because we don't want it being so big that it'll actually kind of take up any room in the sausage where when you cook it, it'll cause it to break apart or anything. So we're just going to kind of mince it up actually. And get it as small chunks as possible. And we're also going to use some applesauce, which will further the flavor of the apple. And I just call this Apple Sage Chipotle sausage. And it's really, really good. And it's excellent to make ahead of time, and you can put it in the freezer. And it all turns out wonderfully. So we're going to put that apple in the sausage. Let me grab me a rag or a paper towel. Always learn to keep your chopping area clean. Okay, now I'm going to put in a couple of just like a heaping tablespoon of applesauce there, not much. All right, now do most of this other stuff to taste, okay, because some people like spicier sausage, some people don't. I'm going to sprinkle probably about a teaspoon of red pepper, all right, and maybe about the same amount of chipotle. I love the flavor of sage, so we're going to put like maybe a teaspoon of sage in there, about a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of salt, about a quarter of a teaspoon of pepper, and about a teaspoon of garlic. And we're going to crush this dried thyme up a little bit before we add it. And that's probably about a half a teaspoon of thyme. Okay, now I'm going to take my fennel seed and put it in my little mortar and pestle here, and I'm just going to kind of crush it, kind of twirl it around a little bit. You can use a spice grinder too, but I kind of like biting into a fennel seed in sausage, but I just want to crush it up, a bit, not to where it's all powder, but all right, that's good. I do love the taste of fennel seed, so we're not going to put all of this in there, but maybe just like a good pinches, okay? And we're going to put about a nice heaping tablespoon of honey. And this is local honey. I've always said that there is no point in buying honey from the store from other countries or other states even, because you may as well just be buying a bunch of sugar, because the benefit of honey is buying it local, because it will kind of control uh, what do you call it? I'm getting all tongue tied. It'll control your allergies, because you know what the bees and stuff like that feed off of, and it. Anyway, I'm gonna have to blip this out. What am I trying to say? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. You know all about local honey. Anyway, all right. So let's just stir all this up. Get it nice and mixed up good. I want it well incorporated. And if I'm going to make breakfast sausage, I'm going to make it a day ahead of time. And I'm just going to roll it up into some wax or parchment paper. Let it, or leave it in the bowl, let it sit in the refrigerator, and let all these flavors meld. I'm not going to cook it, you know, straight away. Stir it up and make sure it's all incorporated real well. Anyway, local honey, I know what I'm trying to say. Local honey helps with your allergies, and your allergies come from your local allergens. You know, pollens and stuff like that are always locally potent. So if you get local honey, it inoculates you, I guess, in such a way that your allergies will be less severe. So there's no point in buying honey from other places unless you just want to try the taste or something like that. It really doesn't do you any good for allergies if it's not local. Okay, so that's Netti. Now what I want to do is smell it. You can smell all that sage and applesauce. The applesauce and the honey add some. It's real busy now, admittedly, but the applesauce and the honey add a little bit of a sweetness to it. And then you get your spice from your red pepper and your chipotle. And the fennel and the sage gives you that classic breakfast sausage kind of taste. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to pat these out. So is kind of pat them out on parchment paper and stick them flat on a pan in the freezer, and then you can freeze them individual patties. That way they last. But if you're cooking a whole pound of sausage, get everything out the way here. If you're cooking a whole pound of sausage, then you want to just do it a day ahead of time and let the flavors get in there and meld real good. And then just go ahead and cook it. Other than that, you can easily just freeze it. Alright. I'm going to pat it out like that. You know, you can make them as big or as small as you want to, thick as you want to. And there's nothing better than good old homemade sausage. Now sometimes I like to buy what they call a meat. I usually get this at Food Lion locally, but I like to buy what they call a meatloaf mix, and it's a pound. It comes in a pound package, but it's got beef, it's got pork, and it's got not lamb, beef, pork. Lord, my memory is going. Beef, pork, and baby cow. What's that called? Lord, God have mercy. I've had it. I can't remember. It's a mixture of 3 meats: beef, pork, and veal. That's it. Beef, pork, and veal. And sometimes I like and that's a really good meat mix. I don't like putting onion in my sausage or anything like that. I'm not a big fan of onion and pork, mixed together. I hope I got these apples small enough. But you want to be careful when you do start cooking them that you don't want to start flipping them too soon. You want them to get solid on one side and held together before you start flipping, okay? All right, so there's homemade breakfast sausage. Sorry for the messy kitchen, but I just haven't gotten around to it today. All right, so we've got everything in it. We've got some nice patted out homemade breakfast sausage. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to stick this in my freezer. I'm not gonna cook any right now. I'm gonna stick it in my freezer, and I'm gonna freeze them to be just IQF, which means individually quick frozen in the food service industry. I'm gonna freeze them flat, and then I'm gonna put them in plastic freezer bags, and voila, breakfast sausage anytime you want it. Talk to you later.